The intelligence of villagers, or potential intelligence of villagers, is quite stunning. And in this video I want to tribute these capable people, as I feel they're frequently underestimated. Allow me to introduce the amazing, talented, and impressive villagers. Before us is a sprawling town filled with the hustle and bustle of daily life. A farmer tends to his crops, a blacksmith forges tools and armor, and children play their games. Despite the casualness with which they do these things, each activity I mentioned demonstrates a great deal about the capabilities of these villagers. The farmer demonstrates foresight, waiting for his crops to grow, instead of just merely focusing on the here and now. Blacksmiths show us the creation of specific tools for specific uses, as opposed to just using sticks, stones, and other sort of debris lying around. And the children show us a willingness to interact non-violently with non-family members. Taking a more in-depth look at some of the things they can create reveals even more of their hidden abilities. Things villagers can sell you include, but are not limited to, arrows, saddles, armor, name tags, compasses, glazed terracotta, beds, ender pearls, and diamond tools. Notice that you cannot create some technologies villagers can offer you, much to many Minecraftians' frustrations. Another thing to note is the existence of ender pearls, rotten flesh, and spider eyes within the villagers' trading repertoire. This is very impressive, as it means one of two things. The first being the possibility that these villagers are personally going out and killing these animals for their loot, including the enderman, something that can give even veteran Minecraftians a hard time. The second possibility is that they use iron golems to do their dirty work and pick up the debris left behind. Even using iron golems is quite an achievement, as they would be creating one of the most powerful entities in the world. Besides Minecraftians, they are the only beings who can do this, and frequently keep multiple of them at a time. If you're still doubting the villagers made them, doing so is also easily within the abilities of these entities. Iron golems only need two ingredients, a carved pumpkin and iron, both of which the villagers have in spades. The steps for constructing an iron golem are simple. Put iron blocks in a T-shaped formation and add a pumpkin on top of the center block. Villagers could simply discover this quirk of the world through sheer luck. Passing it down through the society should be child's play. Some may still doubt that villagers created these items. Firstly, these items can be found anywhere in the village. Secondly, if you were to prevent them from leaving a set location before buying out their stock, returning later would reveal new items to buy. This leads me to believe that villagers frequently trade and would therefore need to constantly make new items. But even if these villagers did loot all these supplies, I would argue that's still quite impressive. They would be venturing into a very dangerous world and returning both alive and victorious. The things villagers might have in stock and the loot found in the various abandoned structures around the world are very similar. Perhaps these too were built by the villagers. After all, we've seen them demonstrate multiple times that they would be more than capable of accomplishing the task. Not only do villagers build large structures, they can also create rare blocks. Not to mention how many biomes villagers inhabit, from the frigid tundras to scorching deserts. Furthermore, they don't merely eke out an existence, but thrive, having enough time to enjoy various luxuries. These beings demonstrate remarkable adaptability. Looking at the insides of certain structures reveals traps, some of them quite complicated. This shows that villagers weren't just capable of aesthetic looks, but also of infusing their buildings with clever contraptions. But what about the ancient builders? After all, couldn't they have built the structures, as well as granting the villagers their homes? While it's possible, I don't think this is the case. Firstly, looking at the structures themselves, they all seem quite uniform. If Minecraftians are anything to go by, then these potential old builders were probably making quite unique buildings. Villagers, on the other hand, do build uniform constructs, much like the buildings you see around you. Furthermore, we know that Illagers didn't always exist, but now they do. While it is possible that we simply hadn't discovered them yet, I propose that Illagers are a new faction that split off from the main group, and are otherwise identical to villagers. Ultimately, Illagers are also very capable, building massive structures and unlocking arcane magic Minecraftians can't use. Again, some may point to the old builders for helping out these beings, but why would the old builders create lavish mansions for such dangerously hostile entities, or teach them deadly magic? Villagers are also quite impressive physically. While certainly unassuming at first glance, their frequent heavy labor would require significant strength, and for further proof, we can look again at the Illagers. On average, when armed with an iron axe, they can strike a zombie dead in 2 blows. An average Minecraftian requires at least 3 attacks to do the same. As many of you might be aware, Minecraftians need to charge melee attacks before using them at peak power, leading many impatient or panicking individuals to use more than the minimum potential amount of attacks necessary to finish off their opponent. Vindicators do not need to be patient when attacking, as they always use their axes at peak power. Compared to how strong a Minecraftian is, then villagers seem even more impressive. Let's now take a look at wandering traders. Like their name suggests, these people wander the world of Minecraft, trading items of dubious importance, often accompanied by lavishly decorated llamas. This is quite impressive. Most people know how dangerous the world can be, and the fact that wandering traders survive long enough to potentially acquire some truly rare materials is astounding, such as corals, ice, glowstone, buckets of fish, and various plants from around the world. One way they manage to endure for so long is through the usage of a very clever strategy. When night falls and monsters begin to spawn in, these people will drink a potion of invisibility, assuring that they will go unnoticed. Witches are another example of solitary villagers. Living in swamps, these knowledgeable beings brew potent potions with effects ranging from healing to damage. Yet another skill villagers demonstrate. Not only do witches have useful liquids, they know how to use them. Chugging a fire resistance potion if on fire, and a water breathing potion if drowning. This demonstrates the ability to make rational choices under high stress conditions. This last part of the video may seem far-fetched, but I also believe villagers are tied to the Nether. Something that villagers can trade with you and witches can drop is glowstone. Glowstone is a substance which only generates in the Nether, so at some point villagers will need to go through into this dimension, and not only survive, but procure minerals from it. We know that the world is started with ruined portals. It wouldn't be so far of a stretch to assume villagers created these as well. Creating a Nether portal is quite simple, and could possibly be found by accident. Once discovered, the villagers' natural curiosity leads them into this mysterious new plane. Further backing this up is the fact that witches can make potions, something that would normally require nether wart, which as its name suggests can only be found in the Nether. This leads to 2 possibilities. Either the villagers have gone into the Nether, or they have found a way to make potions without nether wart, something Minecraftians cannot do. We can also talk about the mysterious structures we see in the Nether, which seem to be of villager origins, consisting mostly of uniform designs. However, it's also possible that some other species made the buildings in the Nether. So I hope you have all enjoyed this video. Due to this being my interpretation of a fairly open-ended game, I would love to hear your ideas in the comments.